All right. Ugh. This is the Russia stuff. Some of it you already know whenever I talked a little bit about what's it called? The Russian Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution, and some of it you don't. So, okay. Where I put it in the notes, it's up to you if you put it wherever you want, but where I put it in the notes is at the very end of World War One. See? Okay? It's up to you. I don't care what you do with it. But, oh, I guess I should make it big, right? So you can actually see it? Yeah. Okay. You should already know. The Germans, no. The Russians are going to pull out of World War One early. In fact, you should, because I talked about it in class. So they pull out of the war early, right? Okay. The king, he's really a Tsar, but the king of, what's it called? Russia is Tsar Nicholas the Second. Okay, right here. Tsar Nicholas II, bless his little heart, he's the one making all of those terrible decisions. Okay, he's the one sending people to fight. It's his decisions in World War One, as you saw, are just blah. And see, the Russian people don't want to stay in the war. They're putting pressure on them to like, do something, right? Do something that makes sense. Don't just keep sending our boys in to die. And a lot of pressure. We have a revolution, sort of. It's in the month of March, so it's called the March Revolution. But it's kind of a weird type of revolution. These people put pressure on him, and he steps down as Tsar. Okay? He steps down. This is not the Bolsheviks. There's actually two like revolutions in 1917. That being said, he steps down, okay? And then he and his whole family are arrested. This is Tsar Nicholas II. There we go. There he is. His whole family. Hey there. Uh-oh. Well, I don't know why this is so big. Look, it's like so big. So I can't like. There we go. This is his whole family. Okay. Tsar Nicholas, the Tsarina, the only son, little Alexei, who had like, he was a hemophiliac, which meant like he just bled and bled and bled. Like his blood wouldn't clot. So anyway, whatever. His whole family is put like basically under house arrest, okay, by these people who kind of pressured him into stepping down. Then, let me go back to the notes. Then, do you see that? They were all executed. So they're like in this, I don't know, this room, right, of the palace. And then these people come in to kill them all. And they just start shooting. Yeah, that was my machine gun sound. Oh, they don't have machine guns. Who cares? Whatever. Anyway, they start shooting. There's a story. A conspiracy story. The whole family's killed, right? Except little Anna. Here she is. Little Anna. Isn't she cute? Right here. Anna Stasia. I already told you how to say that name. Ivan IV's wife. It's not anything. Ugh, Anastasia. Anastasia. Okay. Anastasia, the story is that she didn't really die. Check this out. God, my head is so big and I can't make it smaller. It's kind of in the way. It's really in the way. Look at this. You can't even see the whole picture. We have a woman. Okay. This woman right here, her name is Anna. Yeah? She was found in Germany, I believe. I can't remember exactly. But she was found like having some medical issues. Well, she had amnesia. She couldn't remember who she was. She lives her whole life, yeah? And then as this cute little old lady right here, she says, hey guys, I remembered a really long time ago who I was. I actually am Nicholas and Tsarina's daughter, Anastasia. Everybody's like, what? How did you get away? She said, well, one of the guards, for whatever reason, was kind of taken with me or whatever, and I escaped. Whoa. She escaped. Anastasia lives. And then the old lady dies. I think I have another picture. Yeah, here we go. This was her, like her Russian self. And this was her like a little later in life. Not old, but just living her life, her normal best life. She dies. Fast forward. Yeah. Look right here. This mass grave is found outside of the Russian palace. It's called the Winter Palace, but outside of the palace, where we have all these bones and all these parts. Yeah. And something weird happened. We went, this must be the royal family because we heard that they were buried in this big mass grave. Everybody freaks out, right? So wait a minute. Anna Anderson, that's Anastasia, like in New York or wherever it is in America. Oh, by the way, she went to Germany like when she was young and had like the medical issues, but then she ended up moving to America and lived her life here, like had kids and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. And then, like I said, when she got old and before she died, she was like, oh, by the way, I'm Anastasia, right? And everybody was like, wow, that's amazing. This is like in the 1980s or something. Yeah. But then this was found. And see, the problem is there's enough body parts for all the family members. And they put all the pieces together and they were like, 4 girls, a little boy, 2 adults. What about Anna Anderson, though? She said she was Anastasia. They checked her DNA. I mean, they have DNA right here. Right here. Yes. They check her DNA. This little lady right here. This lady right here. Did y'all hear that in the hall? Dang. I'm having problems with my head being so big, but see all this black stuff on the side? I can't get rid of it. This little old lady. What a liar. She's not Anastasia. Why would she even lie? That's crazy to me. I just can't even, like, why? But whatever, who cares? So now we know her to be like a complete fraud, whatever. That being said. Okay, so whenever the entire family is killed, right? This new government gets created, but they keep fighting World War I. They don't pull out of the war. And isn't that part of why they wanted Tsar Nicholas to step down? Yeah. So they keep fighting the war, right? And then comes V.I. Lenin. You already know a lot of this part. V.I. Lenin, right here. Okay, the March Revolution is what actually gets rid of Tsar Nicholas. But that's in March. The Bolshevik Revolution, the Communist Revolution, doesn't actually take place until November. We've got this like interim government in between. And again, they're the ones who keep fighting the war. They're getting wild and crazy next door. Woo. Anyway, they're the ones that keep fighting this war, which is what people hated in the first place. So V.I. Lenin comes in, swoops in, I'm going to make things communist, and he does. You already know this part of the story. I already told it to you whenever we talked about Karl Marx. But a couple things that you do need to know about this. Russia is no more. Russia was seen as the empire's name, the monarchy's name, okay? Well, they're not a monarchy anymore. And in theory, remember, communism in theory, everybody's equal. We're all the same social status. We are all Soviets. The word Soviet simply means a worker. It's a worker. It could be a farmer. It could be a street sweeper, a factory worker. It's just a worker. If you are a worker, you're a Soviet. Although we today consider it to be only Russians, but whatever. So anyway, they rename themselves. Okay, because Russia is too like monarchy sounding. So they renamed themselves to the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR, often shortened to just Soviet Union. Okay, it's going to be the USSR from here, 1917, until Russia falls. I shouldn't say Russia. Oops. Until it falls in what is it, 1991. Okie dokie. That being said, I already told you this too. V.I. Lenin figures out almost immediately what I wanted to do, Marxism, this like utopian thing. Well, darn it, Marx was right. It's not possible in this world because we're like messed up, flawed, selfish, whatever, right? He realizes real quick it's not going to work. So he does something called the NEP, the New Economic System, which is where they're going to be communist-ish, okay? But they are still going to have some capitalist businesses. What? Doesn't that sound a little bit more like, I don't know, socialism? Yeah. Communism in theory is not possible, remember? But communism in practice really just tends to be socialism to a mega extreme, way more than just the five big businesses controlled by the government. Way more, but not all. You can't compete on a global scale with a capitalist country like us, America, if you don't have some privately owned businesses. So the NEP is just kind of his plan to like, okay, we're not going to go so communist. We're just going to go kind of sort of communist. Okay. It's where they still have some capitalist businesses. I already told you. V.I. Lenin, he actually doesn't rule that long. Like, look, the Bolshevik Revolution is in 2000, is in 1917. He's dead in 1924. He doesn't rule that long. And remember, I told you, who did he not want to be the next ruler? Oh, I don't know. Maybe this guy right here? Yeah, the next guy. Good old Joseph Stalin. Okay, before we go on to Stalin, let me show you some pictures. So here's good old V.I. Lenin. Yeah? Okay. Here's good old V.I. Lenin. Today? Yeah, today. V.I. Lenin, his mummy still exists. And you can like go visit it. They like keep his body right here, like in the middle of the red square in this mausoleum right here. And they pump his body with like so much formaldehyde. It's just crazy to think about. Like, look at him. He still looks squishy. Dude's been dead since 1920, whatever it was, 24, I think. Oh my gosh, you know what? It's almost 100 years. But he still looks squishy. They literally like pump him. Hold on, let me pause. No, it's okay. You can come in, but let me pause this because I'm recording. Hold on. I can't even find the button. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so, sorry, I had a student question. Okay, so, there he is. So yeah, he still looks like mega squishy and stuff because they pump him with so much formaldehyde. It's like crazy. This is his like body, like where it rests. I just think it's creepy. I don't know. Like you can just go check out V.I. Lenin. He's not like a wax. Like that's my thing. Like just make a wax thing and let people go visit that. No, it's his real body. It's just again so pumped with formaldehyde. Like I don't know. All right, is that the last one? It is. Let's move on to big old squirrel mustache. This is Joseph Stalin. We've talked a little bit about him too. You saw him in that happy little Peace, Land, and Bread song. Remember Peace, Land, Bread? Yeah. But This is Joseph Stalin. He's made the next like leader of Russia, I'm sorry, the Soviet Union at this point. Stalin is what we call a totalitarian leader. I love that word. I think it's fun to say. It's all totalitarianism. Totalitarian. Basically, totalitarianism is just kind of the same thing as absolute monarchy. You have total control of your country, except your country isn't a monarchy, it's a dictatorship. Typically, when we're referring to absolute rule or absolutism, we have a monarch, a king or an emperor in charge. Typically, whenever we're referring to totalitarianism, isn't that fun to say? Totalitarianism, you have a dictator, someone who just takes power. Okay, so it also means, especially in this case, he literally controls everything, everything, every piece of people's life. He controls. How in a country as big as Russia, how do you know what people are doing way on the other side? I have 2 words for you. Are you ready? See if you remember this. Secret police. Hey, would the secret police like to stand up? I know you're doing it at home. Okay. Just like Ivan IV utilized secret police, so does he. In fact, it's under Stalin when the KGB, as it's going to be called, is going to start getting like mega scary. And then by like the 80s, when the KGB are like in full form, they're horrifying. I was about to say something, but it doesn't really matter about the KGB, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that being said, Stalin takes over, right? And pretty quickly, he's like, okay, V.I. Lenin, some of the stuff that he was doing, we got to change. Russia is not as industrialized as the rest of Europe, as you should have noticed with World War I. Yeah? They're not quite as industrialized. So Stalin is like, okay, we have got to get industrialized like everybody else. We need to have all of the industrial weapons. We need to have, all of the great railroads and roads and all this stuff that everybody else has. So I think we can do it, I don't know, in 5 years. 5 years is fast to industrialize. We and England, it was like 150 years. Now, part of that is because we were like inventing things as we were going. I get that. When we helped Japan industrialize during the Meiji Restoration, that was a 50-year industrialization. And that is considered incredibly fast. Think about a country as big as Russia. Now think about a country as tiny as Japan. Japan fully industrializes in 50 years, and that's fast. Russia, who's 400 million, billion, quadrillion times bigger than Japan, wants to do it in 5? Are you kidding me? He doesn't make it. He does not make his goal. They do not do it in like 5 years. It's like 7 years or something like that. How? Well, everybody in Russia works. The worker is held in such esteem. People aren't just, unless you're part of the highest part of government, they're not just sitting on their butts eating grapes or whatever. They're working. It wasn't seen as like acceptable and cool to have a noble job that you don't really do anything. But the highest echelons of government did do very little. Not near as much like physical work. Okay, I mean, I'm not dissing like being in charge of a government. That's hard, dude, but it's not physical work. Okay, the Soviet is a physical worker. Everybody's involved. Everybody, kids, women, whatever, everybody. Except, there's always some, just waste of space, man. Always. Even Karl Marx said that. He was like, dude, we can't be totally communist because there's always those people. Joseph Stalin does something in the 30s. He's like, we got to get rid of those people. It's called the Great Purge. When you purge something, you get rid of it. Okay? Y'all all seen the Great, just kidding. Y'all all seen the Purge movies. You get rid of them. You get rid of people. The Great Purge is when Stalin says, okay, we need to get rid of everybody who refuses to work. So think about homeless people who refuse to work. I don't mean every homeless person, okay? But homeless people who just are like, no, I'm not doing it. Take them away, he says. Get rid of them. What about nobles who aren't part of the government who say, I'm special and I don't have to rule? Guys, in theory, they're not supposed to have peasants, middle class, and nobles anymore. They're supposed to be a classless society. You know they're not, right? But they're supposed to be. So the nobles are supposed to be all working. Anybody who's like, my family is old noble blood, I'm not working. Yeah, they're going to be taken away too. Taken away where? Look. I thought I hit the picture. Oh. They're going to be taken to places like this. You're looking like, what the crap is that? Those are dead bodies. They're dead, decomposing, rotting bodies. Look at this. Joseph Stalin has concentration camps too, way up in Siberia. That's like the farthest north, like ice-covered part of Russia. It's a concentration camp. It's just like the Nazis. Except not like, I don't know, based on race, okay? Anybody who's like a criminal to Russia is sent there. You might be sent there because you don't work. You might be sent there because you're, oh my gosh, you're a spy. You might be sent there because you told Joseph Stalin no. I don't know. You're sent there for whatever reason, but you're a criminal of Russia, okay? And then they were kept in these like work camps up in Siberia, where they just, didn't feed people sometimes or whatever. People just kind of disappeared. They're basically concentration camps. Look at the dates. World War I, just kidding. World War II starts in 1939. And we're like, Hitler had camps. So did Stalin. Stalin was an ally to the US. This is kind of a situation where, what is it? The enemy of my enemy? Is that right? Becomes my friend? Is that right? I think that's how the saying goes. If your enemy and you share another enemy, Joseph Stalin and us share Hitler as an enemy, we become allies with Stalin so that we can focus on Hitler first. As soon as World War II is over, we look at Stalin and we say, okay, now you fix your crap too, because we just got on Hitler for doing this and you did it worse. Look at this. These are dictators. We'll mention Hideki Tojo. If I actually had time this year, I didn't have all these freaking days taken away from me, we would talk about Pol Pot in Cambodia. Leopold, remember him? In the Congo, jerk. That's how many people he's responsible for killing. Look at this. I don't know, what is it, 15 million? Adolf Hitler. Now, Hitler, it's not just the Jews and the Holocaust. This is Hitler and the World War II deaths, okay? Hitler, 17 million. Joseph Stalin. Stalin kills more people than Hitler? Look at Mao in China. When Mao Zedong takes China communist, oh my gosh, it is 10 billion times worse. Hold on, let me pause this. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. All right, so look at this. Guys, Hitler kills less than Stalin and Mao. So it's easy to be like, Why don't we talk about Stalin and Mao? Well, you start now in world history. Yeah. You'll have more of them next year, probably with the Cold War. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hold on. Yes. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, so anyway, here we go. We don't actually know how many people Joseph Stalin or Mao Zedong killed in Russia or China, making them communists. We kind of have to guess, okay? And here's why I say that. During the Great Purge, all right, which is only 5 years long, you guys, 5 years, Stalin kills somewhere between 8 and 13 million people with his what is it called? Secret police. We don't know how many. We know for sure 8 million because it's logged. They are actual criminals of Russia, is what it says. But see, as many as 13 million just kind of disappear. This is 5. Don't judge my math. Okay. There's 5 million here that we don't know what happened to them. We know for sure about 8 million. So what happened to this other 5? They disappeared. Well, if they disappeared, what do we assume happened? We assume that they were part of the Great Purge. That was a weird laugh. Did y'all hear that? It's like an animal. Sorry. Anyway, it did sound like a chicken to me, like clucking. Anyway, we don't know what happened. They just disappeared. So again, we assume that they were sent to these gulags, these camps, and they just disappeared. Joseph Stalin, nice guy? The question is, do we trust him? Because he's now our ally for World War II. Now, again, I already told you, spoiler alert, we'll turn and we'll be like, okay, bro, we just took out Hitler. Now you fix what you're doing. And he's like, no. And then Cold War. Yeah. But it is interesting. He's our ally for a while. All right. That brings us up to where we need to be. Auf Wiedersehen.